What's up, guys? So, I wasn't gonna do a video talking about pack racing because I did kind of make a pledge that I would just, not talk about it anymore. I've talked so much about it in the past couple of years, whether it's Daytona or Atlanta. You guys who've watched me on a regular, you know pretty much how I feel about pack racing. But this weekend, just, every time you think they can't, NASCAR proves that they can just go further down the barrel. And this is probably the worst weekend of pack racing or Daytona uh, that we might have ever had. So I I still don't understand what people find so fascinating about conga line pack racing. Forget about all the wrecks. Forget about, you know, um, all the craziness, the rain, the all that other stuff. Let's just think about the actual green flag racing. I've seen and heard on social media and what have you people saying that the racing was actually pretty good before that rain came and all that stuff. I don't see it. I don't see it. I keep giving it a chance, trying to see what it is. This is not real racing. It's manufactured. It is just a group of cars that are chained together by aerodynamics and restrictor plates. You can't break away by yourself. You can't do anything by yourself. You're just stuck in this hornet's nest for hours. And the fact that these cars are inches apart at all times, and people look at that and they're like, "Wow, this is amazing." I just don't get it. They're not in these they're not close to each other because the racing is so competitive. They're clumped together because they're glued together by aerodynamics. It wasn't always like this. Now, before I get into that and I show you what I'm talking about, I want to talk about something else. And I've said it before and I'm going to tell you again. NASCAR does not care about driver safety. They're full of shit. They're full of shit because they have on several occasions, not just with this restrictor plate racing garbage, but even in the All Star race, we saw that they allowed Blaney to have that last restart with the window net not being attached properly. They knew that window net was not attached. And even if you want to make the case to say they didn't know, they admitted that they weren't sure. And just knowing that you're not sure about something that's supposed to be about safety, you don't you got to put a stop to it. So whether you want to make excuse, I've seen people. I've never seen this many excuses about a NASCAR race as I have this weekend, or about a product. People saying, "Well, NASCAR didn't know that it was raining, and how can they predict and this and that and blah blah." Listen, first of all, I've already seen plenty of footage of people who were at the track that said it was raining. They did have time to throw a flag, okay? And there was actually footage. I don't remember on whose channel I saw it, but somebody sitting in the grandstands, and you could see the raindrops and no caution. And NASCAR is notorious for throwing cautions. They throw cautions for anything. It doesn't matter what it is. If somebody farts, caution. So You're watching the track that's completely surrounded by black clouds. You know the rain's coming. You're watching the satellite images. Everyone had those yellow flags in their hands. So they knew the rain was imminent. So even if you want to make the case that NASCAR didn't know that it had started raining, the fact that the rain was that close, that the skies were fucking black around the track, and they knew that rain was imminent. You don't wait until the rain actually hits under green flag conditions. You have to throw that caution. And you can make all the excuses you want. I don't buy it. They keep putting these drivers in the most dangerous situations. Don't tell me they care about safety. And for all the fans that keep defending this product, you don't care about driver safety either. Because this is the most dangerous uh, part of the NASCAR schedule, these pack races, whether it's Talladega, Daytona, or now Atlanta. These cars, and I love these cars. There is so much positives that have come with this car, which I'll talk about later on. But there are some negatives. So one of the big negatives is, and this is coming from drivers. This car is a lot stiffer, and it does not absorb physical contact as well as the older cars. This car is a lot stronger and stiffer, and it transfers more energy to the drivers. Some of the wrecks that you look at and it doesn't look like a big deal, these drivers are walking away saying, that shit hurt. That really, I felt that. Denny Hamlin was interviewed after his wreck, and he said he felt like a boxer in the ring, like he was punched by somebody in the jaw. This is not good. So it's dangerous enough. And then you put them in these restrictor plate track situations. Everyone knows that the wrecks at these tracks are far worse than we see anywhere else. Except for when somebody blows out a right front tire in the corner and they go straight into a wall. That can happen anywhere. But where is the concern for these drivers' safety? And then they have this lightning thing where if there's lightning anywhere near the area, they put a halt to everything for I don't know how long. Maybe half an hour or something like that. They have a protocol. So it doesn't even have to happen on the track surface. It's just somewhere within a certain amount of miles from the track. And they put a stop to everything. So you mean to tell me that there's rain imminent? It's right at your door and you're waiting to throw a caution? That was the most irresponsible thing NASCAR has done that I've seen all year. And we saw the results. It's a joke. This is not a sport. These pack races are not a sporting event. The conga line racing under green flag conditions, sorry, boring. Just, I zone out every time. I try to watch and then I always nod off. I really get sleepy because it's just these cars and they're all just in a pack. The pack that never breaks up, and it's like, I don't see what's so exciting about it. And I've seen people on social media say things like, well, we get these amazing finishes and it's just 2 and 3 wide. I mean, isn't that great? Not when it's manufactured. Every lap, these cars are 2 wide, sometimes 3 wide. It's like that for the entire race. Why? Because they are uh, it's fabricated. The aerodynamics keep these cars glued together. So what difference does it make that it ends with these cars all packed together when it's like that the whole race? That doesn't mean shit to me. So people keep making excuses for this product, and I'm here to tell you, if you have to keep defending a product, it's not a good product. That's how I see it. If it's such a good product, you wouldn't need to have to excuse it or defend it. And all I hear are people I see on social media talking about how good the fucking green flag. No, it's not. And the drivers, I promise you that if they could all answer honestly, I think half of these drivers at least would say, I wouldn't bat an eyelash if these restrictor plate races, these pack races, were just gone from the schedule. These guys do not enjoy having their lives in danger for 3-4 hours. And this race, by this cup race, was so bad that it completely got a lot of people to forget about how bad the Xfinity race was. What a shit show that was. How dangerous that was. It was so awful that it made people forget how bad that race was on Friday with the Xfinity cars. So here we got AJ Allmendinger, who is going to give you an honest response about what he thinks about this garbage.
Satisfied to have finished, or would you have liked one more shot at it?
No, I'm just happy to get out of this place alive. I absolutely fucking hate this racing. So anytime I can walk away and feel my legs and my arms and be okay and have a top 5 finish, I'm okay any day with that.
Thanks, AJ.
This is what makes me look at some fans, not all fans, and wonder, what the fuck are you supporting? If you really care about the sport, if you really care about the safety of these drivers, you would not support this. And people talking about, oh, look at it, Cody Ware and BJ McLeod and all these other guys. Oh, look, they're in the top 10. Who gives a shit? It's meaningless. Anybody can win one of these pack races, and anybody can finish top 10 if you're lucky enough to survive. That's another thing I keep hearing from people about how much talent it takes to avoid these wrecks. Listen, these drivers are extremely talented, and yes, it does take some talent to navigate through a pack, right? There is a talent to that, but don't tell me that, Austin Dillon, oh my God, he's so amazing, he avoided those cars. It's luck. It's luck. You either get caught in something or you don't. It's luck. And then you get these, at the end of the race, it's a bunch of guys that you never see up front. You get more surprise winners at Daytona and Talladega, and now I guess Atlanta's going to be the same, than What does that tell you? It's not real racing. It's a joke. It's a spectacle. If you survive with a couple of laps to go, you got a shot. It's a fucking blender. And we're putting people's lives at risk. For what? NASCAR might think this is good, that everybody's talking about this, but it's not in a good way. Even people defending, pack racing as a product, even they're looking at this and saying, man, this shit's out of control. And I'll tell you something. I know there are people saying, well, maybe we should put it at a different time in the schedule because this is the last regular season race and everyone's going for it. It's not going to make a difference because you got winning you're in, meaning that any time you show up to Daytona, Talladega, or Atlanta, it's going to be a race that everybody knows they have a chance to win and they're going to go for it. So it doesn't matter if when you put it in the schedule. You're going to get the same result and you have been for years. It always comes down to this shit at the end. These crazy wrecks. Anybody can win. That's not going to change if you put it at a different time in the schedule. The win in your in thing is a joke. That NASCAR needs to get rid of that. This should be strictly based on points. If you want to award more points for winning, I'm all for it. But don't give me this shit about automatic winning you're in. If anything, this has proven how broken and how gimmicky that system is. Now we got a bunch of guys in the chase that really shouldn't be battling for a championship. Now, unlike a lot of people, I do support the playoff system. I like having a playoffs, but I think they had it right with the original format. You shouldn't have more than 10 cars. In fact, I would go down to 8 cars. I think 8 is good enough. The top 8 drivers in points, I could say, deserve to fight for a championship. Call it the Great 8, and it's based on points. Award more points for wins, but don't make that winning your in shit has to go. This pack racing is not going away. I get it, but don't tell me this is a good product. And don't tell me you care about driver safety. You cannot have it both ways. This is extremely dangerous. And AJ Allmendinger is not the only driver who feels that way. Through the years, we've heard drivers utter something to the same effect. And the reason you don't hear more drivers being outspoken is because NASCAR is very vigilant about what these drivers say. And they don't want anything negative to be said by anybody. So that's why these guys aren't speaking out more. But they're telling you, if you're willing to listen, when Denny Hamlin is telling you, now I see what other drivers have been saying, it's fucking dangerous. And I get it. This is a dangerous sport. You know what you're signing up for. I'm not somebody who's here to say, hey man, look, maybe we should stop NASCAR altogether because it's dangerous. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that in particular, these pack races are the most dangerous. It's not even close. Every time we see a restrictor plate race, we are reminded of how dangerous it is. And this new car, they need to look at it. I don't think that the safety features of this car, or at least the crumple zone of the design, is adequate. These guys are getting into light, even at other tracks you see wrecks that it's not a big deal, it shouldn't be, and people are walking away saying, that was bad. That hurt. These are people, these are human beings. The human brain is not designed to take the kind of impacts that some of these drivers are taking. I care about NASCAR. I care about the integrity of the sport, and I care about drivers' safety. And we've seen this year plenty of great racing. And I want people to really listen to what I'm about to say, because as negative as a lot of you think I am, I'm giving you tough love. I'm trying to I'm not trying to be the good parent who's always buying you candy and taking you to the ball game. I'm the parent that you know you're gonna get mad at, um, but someday you're gonna be grateful because I'm telling you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Pack racing is garbage and it's dangerous. It's not real racing. It's not. We've had some amazing racing this year. In fact, listen to what I'm about to say. In my opinion, this might be the best NASCAR season, in my opinion, that I can remember since I've been watching NASCAR. In all the years I've been watching, I can't remember a better season with more different winners, more parity. You don't know who is going to win from week to week. Anybody can step up, right? It's competitive for all the right reasons. Another thing that people were worried about, and I told you guys when the season started, by the time we got halfway through the year, nobody was going to care about the number placement. I told you that. Nobody's complaining about it. Yes, I know some of you still hate it. I'm not saying everybody loves it. What I'm saying is it's not a big deal. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's complaining about it. The racing has been good. This car has been surprisingly good at places that people did not expect. The mile and a half and 2 mile uh, speedway packages have been great. The racing has been good. Texas was like one of the few places that sucked. Surprisingly, the road course racing has not been good. We all expected this car to be really great at road courses, and it is. But the actual racing and it's not that good. Now Watkins Glen was good, okay, but Watkins Glen has always been good. But there are other tracks like Indy and Coda, to be honest, isn't all that good. In either case, the tracks that this car was people expected to be great at have been pretty questionable. The road courses and even some short tracks haven't been all that good. And I think a big reason for that is the people shifting. NASCAR needs to do something about the gearing so that people aren't shifting at these short tracks and stuff like that. You shouldn't be shifting anywhere outside of a road course. Maybe Pocono, we've always had some shifting there, but it really shouldn't give you any advantage. So I don't know. I think that's kind of hurt the shorter tracks, but this has been a great season. Even if you take into account the road courses and some of the tracks that haven't been good, we've seen great racing at other tracks. For the for the majority of the season, for the most part, it's been a net positive. And the problems with the loose wheels and the flats and the cars being stuck on the track, that stuff has kind of gone away. Not completely, but it's nowhere near what it was in the beginning. I think these teams are figuring some things out. Also, I think teams are not rushing these pit stops as much as they were earlier. They're also realizing, especially if it's a full fuel stop, there's no point in rushing the wheels because you still have to wait for the car to get full of fuel. So I think they've been able to dial it back just a notch, right? Just enough to where they're not making as many mistakes. You still see it from time to time, but that's kind of sorted itself out. But like I said, there are some issues with the car, mostly with the safety side of things. Um, but most of the year has been pretty good, really good. And there's a lot of good stuff about the season in NASCAR. but it's these gimmicky things that are killing it. And that's why it's important to let NASCAR know we don't want these fucking gimmicks. The stage racing, that's got to go. I supported it early on, but that's something where I can say, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about that. It's just not working. So get rid of it. If you still want to award points for certain stages of the race, you could still do that. You could still do that if you want to. But the caution stages, you got to get rid of it. It's the way it interferes with the race. It's not working. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I've really enjoyed most of the season, but these fucking pack races are agonizing. They're agonizing, and it's not real racing. So those are my thoughts. I want to show you something. We all know what the pack racing is like today. But I want to show you something. This is 1976, right? So I was watching this earlier because I wanted to know. I said, look, as much as I hate these tracks, it's because of the pack racing. The pack racing came along more or less, I would say, and I don't quote me on this, but maybe somewhere in the 90s, right? But in this, actually from the inception of the track, from in the 50s to the 60s to the 70s into the 80s, we had great racing. And even though aerodynamics always played a part, it was not pack racing. So let's take a look at some of them. This is 1976.
I was having a little difficulty catching on to the draft the first of the week.
All right, I just want to show you guys.
30.
All right, this is the start.
And as they come in, the pace car is in. We're going to get a green flag. The green flag is out, and Raymond
It's kind of weird.
The white car really stands on it.
It's kind of weird because they don't start in a pack. Sometimes they do on restarts, sometimes they don't. So that I don't, obviously that's never going to happen. But
Terry Ryan next to him, Dave Marcus in the red car.
This is real racing.
And next to him is Waltrip. And take a look at Buddy Baker trying to slide down on the inside. That's the white car, currently in 5th place on the inside. But it's Ramo Stott still in the lead as they go into turn 2. Next to him is Terry Ryan, the truck driver from Davenport, Iowa. The one thing they really want to do today is to hang on to that lead for that first lap. As they flash down that backstretch, the car's strung out a bit, and it is Ramo Stott.
See, he said that the cars are stringing out. But you can see real racing. You can see handling in the mix. Yes, aerodynamics play a role. But you can do things by yourself if you work on the handling, if you got a good car and you work in you see slingshot passes, traditional racing at Daytona. This is the way it used to be. If this came back, I would fly to Daytona and watch a race. If it was like this again.
Buddy Baker had slid in there. Buddy Baker in car number 15. And right behind him is Richard Petty. Then Terry Ryan. Then Ramo Stott. So it's Buddy Baker who said, I've got a feeling today maybe I can do it. Here he comes. The fellow who has never won the Daytona 500, coming off the best year he's ever had, 1975. As they swing by here.
Look at this.
At the end of one lap is Buddy Baker.
No pack that you can't break out of. Everybody, it's like every man is in control of his own destiny. This is real racing. This is the way it used to be. Now, I'm not stupid. It's never going to be like this again. These cars, as time has gone on, have become more aero dependent. And eventually they got so fast that they had to put restrictor plates on them just to keep them reined in. The problem is the combination of aerodynamics and that restrictor plate has created pack racing. So you are chained together by an invisible chain, and there's nothing you can do. So yes, there's a talent to navigating within that pack, but it's not real racing. It's a manufactured form of racing. Look at this.
And I'm checking the course to see if everybody got started. Jackie, I believe all 42 cars are on the course.
Yes, it's a clean start all the way.
All right, let's go forward.
Immediately you see
The lead right now is David Pearson in car number 21.
You see the aerodynamics.
David Pearson, who has never won the Daytona 5 years of stock car racing in America. All right, at the end of 7 laps.
All right, what am I?
to the pit. Saltwater going back there will obviously have to change his tires because they'll have flat spots in the tires. This means when the car has spun round, he's locked
Bear
up
with
the
me.
wheels.
I think this was a
But right
restart.
now, this is
No.
Bill Fleming along with Jackie Stewart and Chris Economaki.
But look at how these cars are spread out. And there's passes being
Buddy
made.
Baker is in the lead at the present time. Ramos stops
And you
in
could
second,
see
and Richard
individual
third.
battles.
Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is
You can see individual battles throughout the field. And you get to see what's happening. And it's not like, oh, look, I need a guy to push. It's just, this is amazing.
Bill Fleming along with Jackie Stewart and Chris Economaki reporting live from
Man, how far have they fallen with this
the
shit?
Daytona International Speedway for the Daytona 5.
All right, what are we looking at here? Bear with me. I'm trying to find something.
Driver's seat, more or less.
So you see these
Luckily,
cars
he
by
hasn't got
themselves.
serious
So I know there's people like, oh, this is boring. I want to see a bunch of guys like constantly pass.
When he gets
That's
out, we'll try and get with him back to you, Bill. Tour. And of course, this big win brought him to the eyes of the public. It made it
all right.
And then
I'm gonna.
just
Where am I going?
raise
Hold
the
on.
fifth wall. This race right here, the 500.
All right, let's go to the end. All right, look. I just want to show you
a question of where you are on the racetrack, where to pick up the
what a
pass,
real,
where to
what real racing is. Keep in mind, this is a 500-mile race. These cars are strung out. Everybody's doing their own thing. And this is what's a real great finish. When people are telling me, oh, look, these pack races, it's like, oh, look, these guys are 2 and 3 wide down to the wire. That's exciting. No, that's you're glued together in a pack. That's watch this.
take it from there. And my goodness, when you've got two old foxes like they
So you got
are,
Richard
there's
Petty
not
and
much
David
to
Pearson.
All right, as we look at
And they're
Richard
passing
Petty,
lap cars.
Number 72, he's the third place car, and he is a lap down. Then let's got lose sight of
Look at
Bernie
this
Carr,
battle.
who is the fourth place car, 2 laps
Richard
down,
Petty,
and a young
David
fellow
Pearson.
Neil Bonnet, car number 12. He's just a rookie, comes from Huey.
Imagine watching this live, and you just like, you want to see if he catches them and passes them. You got cars being lapped. This is what you see at normal racetracks.
There's not many people walking away from this speedway right now. You know, when
3
you get
laps to
the
go.
laps of a motor race, normally you see the people trying to get out just before the end, before the crowd start to get out.
Look at
But I
this,
haven't seen
rim
one
ride
person
right up
through
against the wall.
So far. They want to see the
And you
show.
could almost see the right rear of the car kind of, it's just kind of kicked out a little bit. These guys are driving on the edge.
Out of the race. Gerald Waltrip, one of the young Chargers, was out of the race.
And look, most of the field is not even in it, right? So, listen, I get it. If you want to say, well, it's just 2 guys. But this is after 500 miles. After all the attrition. And it comes down to 2 of the greatest drivers of all time battling with less than 3 laps to go. And it's just those 2 guys.
Making a good run at the thing. But right now, there they are, 2 men. And they've completed 197 laps.
And he's catching them.
They will be on the 199th lap. 198 completed. So the next time around, we will have the checkered, I mean, not the checkered, the white flag before the checkered one lap to go.
And it's as if a motor race was just starting all over again. The adrenaline's pumping right inside those motor cars. The driver is as excited now as he was before the
Look at this, look at this.
Start your engine. And right
He's
now, both
reeling
of
them in.
The same thing. Now, what does he choose to do? Does Richard Petty choose to lead?
This
Going
is two
down
of the
back
greatest
straight
drivers
on
of
that
all
last
time.
important lap?
Look at this.
Or does he fall
He's
back and
reeling
let
them
David
in.
Wilson do it? Does he feel confident that that car, that Dodge, will take him all the way through?
I'm getting goosebumps watching this.
Without
This
being
shit
frightened
happened
by
a
position on the
lifetime
grass
ago.
up to the dogleg
Look at
ring.
this. He's
That's
reeling
where
them
the
in.
confidence comes in. And we'll just have to wait and see.
Johnny
He's
Brenner
reeling them
Sr.,
in.
Has always told the driver.
Could you imagine watching this live?
So keep your
Look at
eye
this.
on
He's
the rear
reeling
vision
them in.
mirror. He said it's extremely important. I don't believe that you have to tell Richard Petty to keep his eyes in the rear vision mirror.
I reckon he's throwing it out the window right now.
This is after 500 miles. It comes down to
Everybody is
this.
standing here at the Daytona International Speedway. Look at David Pearson.
There he goes.
Move closer. Can he do it?
He's going to pull out now. He's going to try for the
I
top.
don't know. He's down on the inside. He's got the lead, but there's a car ahead of him. There is a slower car ahead of him. And Richard Petty and Pearson go high. Pearson
Oh my
now
God,
has
look
the
at
lead.
this.
Petty
And he's
tries
coming
to
back.
get down on the
That's a
inside.
crossover.
As they come out of the fourth
And he's
turn,
loose.
they
Watch.
only have about 750 yards.
Oh
to
my
go.
God, look.
It's a domination straightaway. They did hit. Petty smashes into the wall. Will he come across the start-finish line? He's going to win the race. He's going to win it spinning, as he, I believe, will take the checkered flag. No, he did not make it. He is less than 100 yards from it. Here comes Pearson. Pearson is going to try to make it across the finish line. Petty has his car going. Pearson's going to win it. Oh, Bashford Randall, he wins the race.
What a finish for a motor race. I've never seen anything like that.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, because here is Richard Petty, not more than maybe 100.
That's real racing. And you didn't have to have a pack of 30 fucking cars clumped together to make it exciting. To watch a guy reel a guy in, pass him, and then the guy come back and pass him again, and they're fighting to the finish. And you get a finish like this. And this isn't the only time we've had a Daytona 500 with a finish like this. Everybody remembers the Cale Yarborough thing in 1979, and Allison fighting in the infield. That's when Daytona was great. I know that's never going to happen again. These cars now, they're too low to the ground. It's just everything's designed to purposely create pack racing, a garbage product. This is why I keep reminding people, you don't judge a race based on how many passes you see. This was amazing. This is when Daytona was great. So, I don't know what else to say. Those are my thoughts. I look forward to your comments later.